Since COVID, one of our biggest concerns has been organized retail theft. You know, where we have individuals coming in as a group or in mass, you know, and hitting our stores for high-end luxury items, you know, for the most part.
It made it like a normalcy for people to come into a store and wear a mask. And it makes it not as, normally if you came into a store, you're wearing a mask or you're covering your face, that looks a little suspicious, right? But it made it a little more normal for people to come and do that. I think that has definitely contributed to the time that we're in now, at least in some respect. But this year alone, I've seen 2023 compared to 2022, we've seen an increase in retail theft and theft in general by almost, let me double check my numbers here, but at least within the Northridge Mall, it's up about 35%.
And you know what's so important is, of course, our employee, our staff, their safety. That's ultimately, you can replace an article in the store, but it's the safety aspect of what's happening out in the stores. By giving us the best opportunity to apprehend these individuals in the future, whether it's organized or individuals just hitting the stores day after day after day, it just gives us the best probability of us to follow up.
We host monthly meetings with our retailers via Zoom, and sometimes we have a retailer will attend one after they've been a victim, and then they don't keep up with some of those current trends. But I'd say, crime is ever so changing. A lot of these trends are changing. Staying up to date about the techniques and different trends that we're seeing, being aware of what those techniques are.
To be absolutely honest with you, what we find to be very, very challenging is, as our constituents, as our community, as our citizens out in the community vote, they really need to do their homework to find out who these candidates, individuals that they're voting in, and what they represent, as far as the community. Because ultimately that really affects the way that we go out and apply these laws that are in the books, or we have laws taken away from us that we can no longer use. So it makes it very, very difficult for us to finally apprehend individuals, and then there's a little bit of a revolving door where they're back on the street the next day. So I think people need to be held accountable. But all that starts with our community going out and voting for the right people to be in office that really represents what the community is feeling. One of the things that we've learned in our office that's so important is communication. It's so important that we have a constant line of communication with our retailers, with our community. Don't wait until something happens where now you're researching, trying to figure out how you're going to call the police, who you need to speak to about the crime that's affecting your store, and by all means report it. So much theft goes unreported that for us, when we take a look at the statistical picture, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the trends, we're not seeing the crime because people just don't report it anymore. But at the end of the day, although our resources may be limited, we need to put them in the right places. But in order to do that, we need to have a clearer picture of what's happening out there in our retail world.